Hello guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be discussing Hidden Cup 5, and the new hot theory that's on the street. That is going to be farming theory. We've now taken it to such degenerate levels where you need to try and guess players based on their farms. Yes, we have the new hot theory, but we have to stay humble. We have to stay humble. So the best part about Hidden Cup is, of course, the guessing games. We're all trying to find out who is who. Now, sometimes this is easy, sometimes this is really not. This year is going to be way more difficult. What's changed? Going to be new names in the tournament. We're going to have the likes of Mihai. We're going to have the likes of Sebastian. We're going to have the likes of Sato. Never been to Hidden Cup before. So it's a little bit like, what markers do we look for? Also, things have changed. APM's no longer going to be on the rec analysis for capture rate for T90 and every other streamer. And APM data is typically very, very reliable. Players cannot really change this. Not without too much effort. Well, with a lot of effort, should I say. And it usually varies a little bit on map to map, depending if it's a slower start. Nomad, for example, would have a lower APM. Don't have a Nomad map in Hidden Cup. Anyway, I digress. It means we have to look for other means to try and find the players, right? So people have been talking about colors a lot, the messages in chat, the G's, the capital G's, the lowercase G's, the mix of both, whatever floats your boat. Also, formations has been quite a thing. There's a difference in some of these things that are going to be easier to manipulate than others. The colors, for example, are going to be very easy for players to manipulate. Formations, not so much. One other thing I'm maybe considering is the farm placement. And I think that farm placement is a very deliberate muscle memory for a lot of players. For others, maybe not so much. But I think there might be a particular pattern that players can rely on here, or they might have a setup system that they know that works, gets them a good farming setup. So I want to try and hone in on this, see if we can try and identify any players based on their farms. Okay guys, here is my farm analysis so far. And I must stress this is a work in progress. It's not completely done yet. So the way I'm working this is, I am going through all of the regs that are in Hidden Cup main events so far, and trying to find some, like, where they're placing their first farms, what their first kind of farms look like, collecting all the data there. Taking the screenshots I found is just actually the easiest thing to do. I considered the way of trying to codify all the data, but then I didn't think it was as good or as powerful as the visual. So I'm going through all the Hidden Cup recs, and I also need to try and create a profile for each player. So for a lot of players, I am just going through their ranked games, and maybe go through their VODs, some of the cast. The easiest thing to use is the ranked games, So here's one player that has quite a lot of games. On ladder, for example, that would be Mihai. Not everyone plays a lot of 1v1s on the ladder. Not everyone plays team games, so it can be kind of difficult to find games. The likes of ACCM, Tato, Leary, Sato. The last kind of week, I'm kind of like struggling to pull some games, and also once the new patch comes in, it makes it really difficult to view old games. I'm struggling in that aspect. So I need to stress, this is a work in progress, and I'm going to continue to work on it. Let's see what I found already. So let's start with Vasco da Gama and Pachacuti. Vasco is a very interesting player because he liked this little kind of corner around the right hand side of the TC. Now they do it in game 1, they don't do it in game 2 on evacuation, but they do it again on game 3, then do it in game 4, kind of missed on it unfortunately, and they did do something very similar in game 5 where they want to be furthest. They kind of do like the same thing, but they put the farms in a safer position that's kind of further away from the enemy. Now, surprise, surprise, there is someone that does these kind of farms and ranked. I'm struggling to see anyone that does it so consistently. So here's Hera, has a corner here. Oh, here's a corner. Oh, another one. And oh, another one. So yeah, this is something that Hera does do a lot of the time. And the trademark here is the first farm, well, not so much the first farm, but these 3 farms are on they perfectly line up. So this one is right on the edge. So the bottom left-hand corner is right on the right corner of the TC. And as I go through the farms, guys, I'm struggling to really find someone else that does it so it does these farms so often. So if I'm going to go purely off of farms, I do think Vasco is Hera. We only saw this pattern in 2 games, but there's a similar one in the last game. I want to see what the quarterfinals look like. If Vasco does this a few times in the quarterfinals, I am dead set on it being Hera. Not even looking at gameplay, I think the gameplay is pretty good. I think if you add everything together, it's very obvious. But based on the farms purely, I have to go Hera. Okay, here's my next 2 actually that are very interesting. So it's King Stephen and Slim the Grim. So Slim the Grim is going to be in the red tier, and he has this thing where he places the farms on kind of the top side and on the right. You can see that in the game 1. Stephen kind of doesn't care. Stephen doesn't care. Slim, okay, on the same thing up there again. Oh, there's King Stephen putting it on the mill. Here's Slim down the bottom here. Again, the first farm on that kind of top right-hand side. Top right-hand side here. And usually likes to expand to the mills pretty early. Does Slim as well. You can see it starts to farm in the mill there. Did I get another one of it? Not sure if I did, but it's kind of a trademark. And this is very funny because now we're going to move over to Vinch. This is something that Vinch does quite a lot from what I've noticed. And it's something that not a lot of players do. So this first farm on the top side and on the right, you can see in some of his ranked games that he's placed them elsewhere on the right hand side. This is the most common one. But in terms of elsewhere, okay, expanding to the mill nice early. Yep, places it here. Places it here. Places it there again. And you can see he does revert to this kind of right-hand side. That was an arena game on ladder. But he likes to expand to his mill early to get the farms down as well. Now, I think some people do think that Vinchester is someone that's had auto-reseed turned on. And it is a very nice thing to notice, for sure. Try and work out who has what. I watched some recent ladder games, just to try and confirm of what they've been doing recently. And as I did look, I seen that Vinchester actually had it turned off. And Doubt had it turned on. Guess who had auto receipt turned on? And guess who had it turned off? In Grim versus King Stephen. I think there's definitely some good detective work here. I'm still working on a couple of things, so maybe I'll fill you guys in for part 2. Let me know what you think. Drop a comment. Let's see if we get it right.